day out there to all my listeners. Welcome to the Is Your Way in Your Way podcast. And I'm your host, Cassandra Crawley Mayo. And for those new listeners out there, let me share with you what this podcast is all about. It's actually for you, those individuals who are stuck. And what I mean by that, and you probably already know, yeah, I'm stuck, but you're stuck in certain things like your purpose, like what should I be doing? Or I want to write a book and I just can't seem to do it. I need to get out of a toxic relationship. What's wrong with me? I need to move, be promoted, just a number of things. But there's something, it's like your soul is like calling you to something, but you just can't execute it. It's not manifesting because you're not taking action, and you kind of want to figure out what's up with that. So we talk about topics related to what I say is personal development, personal improvement, business development, even business improvement. And also, it's going to enable you to start self reflecting on some things. And we have a great topic today titled Tapping into Your Own Intuition and Aligning with Your Purpose. So, boy, I know you guys can't wait to hear this conversation. And our special guest is, her name is Laura Horwick. Hi, Laura. How are you?
Wonderful, Cassandra. Thank you for having me on. I'm really looking forward to this.
I am too. I am super excited about this one, guys. And let me tell you, I'm going to tell you why. Let me read a little bit of her bio. And let me say this, though. If you guys are craving clarity, direction, and confirmation about your next step, this podcast is for you. If you want to really focus on things that really matter, it's for you. And let's explore some new life opportunities from your perspective of past life influences, blocks, or hindrances to your progress. Now, Laura is an internationally acclaimed spiritual counselor, intuitive coach, and psychic medium known for her extraordinary ability to offer deep clarity and life affirming guidance. With her compassionate yet no nonsense approach, she helps you uncover your divine missions and align their lives with authenticity and purpose. She's passionate about empowering others. She guides her clients to nurture their spiritual gifts and unlock their fullest potential. Her unique combination of intuition and practical insight inspires transformation and helps people embrace a life filled with joy and meaning. Now, so Laura, yeah, this is interesting. Your spiritual journey started at the age of 11. That to me is fascinating. So tell us about that spiritual journey.
Well, to begin with, I wasn't raised in a religious family or anything like that at all. And all of a sudden, it was around 10 or 11, I wanted to find out where God and the angels lived. So,
Hmm.
of course, the only thing you ever heard of at that point was church.
Right.
So I discovered that there was a number of churches of all different faiths surrounding my neighborhood that I could actually walk to because nobody was going
Okay.
to take me there. So each Sunday for about, I don't know, 6 to 8 weeks, I got dressed up in my Sunday best because that's what you
Okay.
did back then. Okay,
That's
my
right.
little patent leather shoes and my little
Hmm.
skirt and all that kind of thing. And
Hmm.
off I went every each Sunday morning. I went to a different church. I went to like a Catholic church, an Anglican church, a Salvation Army church.
Hmm.
There were several different churches, and I just went to Sunday service to see where because I believed at that point that that must be where God is, and that must be where the angels live. And
Yeah.
I discovered it was interesting and it was a wonderful experience. And I met a whole bunch of really wonderful people
Hmm.
and people who were tapped into their own spirituality to different degrees.
Okay.
Okay. But I really discovered that for me, God and the angels weren't in the church. That's not where they lived.
Okay. Okay.
So as I grew older, I had to figure out what that was for me. Now, I'm not saying that somebody else couldn't find them there, but that
Yeah.
just for me, that wasn't the
Okay.
thing.
Wow. So you were always inquisitive and curious about God, and actually you went to church by yourself because that's not how you
Yep.
grew up. Wow, you were brave, brave soul.
Well,
Wow.
and then when I was 15,
Okay.
this is how I discovered my own personal connection to spirit and to God, and how
Uh-huh.
whatever language you speak, that's great, because I'm totally into all different faiths and different thought forms and everything like that. I believe that everybody's saying the same thing.
Hmm.
They're just using different language. So
Okay.
it doesn't
Okay.
matter what your language is. But for
Right.
me, I when I got into my teen years, I spent a huge amount of time backpacking and canoe tripping and being out in the wilderness. And
Mm-hmm.
that's where that became my church. That's where I felt my truest connection to
Okay.
spirit. So, and that's still true to this day. When
Okay.
I'm in the wilderness, that's where I feel most connected.
Interesting. And that's interesting because a lot of people say it's great to go out and take long walks and breathe in and breathe out and just look at the trees and feel that air. So that's interesting. Wow. Um, so let me ask you this. I want to talk about you actually had an out of body experience. I think you were 15. And I want to know, how did that transformation impact you? Like, tell us about, because I had an out of body experience. So I can't wait to hear about your out of body experience.
Well, this was totally spontaneous.
Mhm.
This is during when I was up north in northern Ontario, up in
Okay.
a state, in our case provincial, because I'm Canadian, a big
Yeah.
provincial park, and I was rock climbing, and I was on the top of a cliff, looking out over nothing but lakes and trees and the beauty and of nature. And all of a
Mhm.
sudden, my whole essence and everything is that I would call me, besides my popped right out of my physical body. And all of a
Mhm.
sudden, I found myself in the air, looking down at my compatriots standing on
Mhm.
this cliff, and I'm
Oh,
looking down at them going, wow, that's pretty cool.
wow.
And
Yeah.
I then I was there for a moment, and I looked around and I could see for miles and miles and miles. And then all of a sudden I felt this whoosh, and I went up even high. I just shot up into the air, and all of a sudden I looked down, and I was actually looking down on the earth
Oh my
like the
goodness.
astronauts did. Okay.
Yeah.
And I was brought up when the first walking on the moon, I'm dating myself now. Well,
Oh,
the first walk on the moon and stuff was all
uh-huh.
happened when I was a young child. Okay.
Okay.
So I
Mhm.
was like, wow, this is very cool. I'm looking down on the earth. So I did that for a while, and it was amazing. And it not only was amazing, I felt huge. Like I felt totally expanded. I felt connected to everything. There
Mhm.
was no fear in me at all. There was
Mhm.
just this incredible peace. And then I was there for a while, and then all of a sudden, poof! Again, I can only say it like shooting up, because that was the feeling. I was shooting
Yeah.
up again to the next level. And I got there and I looked around, and all of a sudden I was like, oh my God, I'm out in the universe, because
Oh.
all I could see was spiral galaxies. Okay. So I was
Mhm.
even outside of our solar system. I could
Yeah.
see all these spiral galaxies all around me,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
and I was just in awe, like absolute awe of the beauty and the serenity of what I was looking at. And then
Mhm.
all of a sudden, it was like somebody grabbed me and yanked me very, very forcefully and very quickly. And all of a sudden, it was like I slammed back into my body. And I was like, wow, I was like totally disorientated.
Oh
Uh,
my goodness.
yeah, because
Wow.
it your spirit, your soul is so much bigger. Only a portion of it is in your human body. Okay, that's
Uh-huh.
why we have our
Uh-huh.
higher selves.
Right.
So it was like stuffing. I always say it. It was like stuffing an elephant into a Coke bottle. That's basically what it felt like.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
And it took me actually several days after this experience to feel totally comfortable again back in my body. But what
Mhm.
actually happened in the physical world was
Okay.
one of our climbing instructors had become concerned. Uh, that I was too close to the edge of the cliff. And what he
Okay.
had done is he had actually grabbed the back of my jeans and my pants and yanked me back from the cliff. So when he did
Mhm.
that physical move, that's
Yes.
what rocketed me back into my body. So
Oh my
that's,
goodness.
yeah, so I have no idea what the next, because my feeling was that I was going to continue on this journey and that I would have gone to the next level. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure what that next level would be. I have some
Right.
educated guesses,
Yeah.
but it was an incredible experience, and it totally changed the way I looked at life and death,
Uh-huh.
and everything. My total worldview, it changed immensely in that moment.
And what way, like what changed that for you?
Well, number one, it changed my concept of what we really were. That we
Okay.
weren't this body, okay, that we were something much, much more,
Okay.
and that we had qualities and gifts and abilities that we hadn't even touched yet. Because if I
Mm.
was able to, I certainly didn't think I was extremely special or anything at that age. So
Mm-hmm.
I just thought, if I could do this, what are people really capable of doing? And I
Yeah.
also started thinking about death. And I started thinking about death in an entirely different way,
Uh-huh.
because I was obviously not in my body. So it
Right.
would be just like someone who had passed away and
Yeah.
left their body. So
Exactly.
I started thinking, well, is the afterlife, or is what happens to us after we die, was
Mm-hmm.
this kind of an example of what it just started the whole wheels turning
Mm-hmm.
in very, very different ways than anything that I had experienced up into that point in my life.
Right. Did you tell anybody about that, or did you talk about it?
No.
Not at all. Okay. Uh-huh.
Not at that, not actually, I don't know. I'm trying to think if I can remember. I can't remember the first time that I talked about it, but I was very, very much older. I was an adult, probably,
Uh-huh.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
before I ever ventured into that discussion. Like I've had a lot of things happen to me, even
Yeah.
as an adult, that I haven't necessarily
Talked
discussed
about.
with people. Yeah.
Why? And you don't because what? Do you think people like, oh, she's weird or woo woo or they're not ready for it or
Well, all of the above, everything you just said. Okay, because
uh-huh.
some people would just kind of look at you and go, "You're nuts." Like,
Yeah, that's right.
other people would have a hard time even grasping it, and some people simply wouldn't be able to take it in, because they wouldn't be able to really. There was an old expression, I think it's "gork." They wouldn't be able to gork that. In other words, they
Mhm.
wouldn't be able to even understand that
Mhm.
could even be a possibility, let
Right.
alone actually happen.
Yeah, that's
They would have, even after, I remember a couple times that there's a condition, and this is a real psychological condition, but I know this is not what happened to me,
okay.
because it's very different. There's something called climber's euphoria, which some people get when they're at height, and
Yeah.
they start thinking that they can fly and that they
Mhm.
can just walk off the cliff and all this stuff.
Mhm.
And people had suggested to me over the years that this is probably what happened to me. And
Mhm.
at first I went, okay. So I started doing some research and looking into what people had said about an experience like that. And it was
Yes.
totally different than what I experienced. Didn't even come close.
Uh-huh.
So
Wow.
I knew that wasn't it.
Okay, okay. Yeah, because when I had mine, very, very few people, I mean, maybe two that I shared it with that I felt would knew me well and could like, okay, I believe her,
Mhm.
okay. And by no means that I think I was special. It was just, it was different for me. And
Yeah.
for me being curious, I always felt it meant something. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I tried to figure out, well, what did that mean? Because that happened, blah, 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 blah. Now, I know that you worked in corporate before.
Oh
And
yes.
oh, yeah. How can you forget that, right? Um, because I'm trying to get to, because right now you are a spiritual counselor, a coach, intuitive coach, and a psychic medium. I would like to know what happened for you to pivot from that marketing job you were doing until what you're doing now.
Well, I was actually I worked for a large chain of um, mass media. Okay,
Okay.
they were into newspapers and television and all kinds of things. Okay, so I was in the mass media business. So, okay,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
so yeah, it couldn't be any different than that. And I was a very split person. Okay, I was one person at work in my corporate job and dealing with my clients and with the mass
Uh-huh.
media portion of it. And on the other hand, in my personal life, I have been into spirituality, and I was even doing readings part time for people, and certainly not to the level that I do now, but I
Uh-huh.
was into all that stuff. So I was like two different people. Like
Okay.
literally, if my personal friends had met they wouldn't even understand my business self, and vice versa. Like they were
Okay.
just two different things. And
Mm-hmm.
then basically the newspaper business went into the dumper.
Okay.
Okay, with
Mm-hmm.
about it really went into the dumper about 10 or 11 years ago. Okay,
Okay. Yeah.
and they
Mhm.
started cutting back staff, and I saw the writing on the wall, and I was totally burnt out anyway,
Uh-huh.
because actually the only thing that the level of stress in that job was pretty much equivalent to a first responder. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
All right.
So I went, I'm out of here, and they offered a golden handshake. So I said, give me my check, I'm out of here.
Right. Okay.
with,
All right.
without even a plan. Okay, I had no plan. I just
Wow.
said,
Wow.
I'm done.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
So
Uh-huh.
then there was a whole bunch of sequence of events, and actually my partner passed away suddenly, about about 6 months after I left my career.
Oh, wow.
And
Mhm.
so there was a whole bunch of things that happened in succession, and
Okay.
my world basically imploded and exploded at the same time.
Yeah, I can
So I had
imagine.
to relook at everything, and I was absolutely led through this healing journey to
Hmm.
continue this, to start this work full time, and to
Hmm.
make this my purpose and my mission. That's how it happened.
Mm. Okay. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about when you say you were led. What is it that led you but because you being young anyway, you always had a curiosity,
Yeah,
about you went to different churches, and it's like I can kind of see the writing on the wall to where you are now.
yeah,
And and then we want to talk about tapping into your own intuition. And we talked about in the beginning how people are wanting to align with their purpose, but they're just stuck and they can't do this. What led you? Tell us that story. How did you know? Because I believe right now you're in your purpose. Am I correct? You're
yeah.
doing what you're
Oh
called.
yeah, there's no
Right.
question.
Yeah.
Um, I think it was basically that I had been getting messages for a long time, and I had been ignoring them. Okay. And
Okay.
so Spirit decided, if we're going to get this girl in her alignment and in her purpose, we're going to have to shake up her world big time. So
Mhm.
my, and I talk about this with my clients, because honestly, if you don't follow your guidance, Spirit will find a way to shake up your world so that
Okay.
you align with your purpose. Okay. So
Okay. Uh-huh.
I tell you, the easiest way to do it is to follow that guidance, because
Uh-huh.
it's much easier to do it that way than to do it the way that I did, because it can
Oh,
be, it could be, it could be, it could be I'm trying to look. I'm looking for the right word. It
okay.
can be a bit of a shite show. Okay, a shit
Uh-huh.
show,
Okay.
because that's what happened with me. I was basically, in some ways, given no choice, because when I quit my job, my corporate job, I
Yes.
was about 52 years old. I had all kinds of experience. I was an expert in sales and
Mhm.
marketing, and I had all these great credentials,
Yeah.
and I figured, oh, I won't have any trouble getting a job in my
Yeah.
industry.
Uh-huh.
No.
Okay.
It happened at just a time where there was a bunch of ageism going on, and
Uh-huh.
people, well, one of the headhunters that I was involved with, she wasn't even supposed to tell me this, but she liked me, so she told me. She was honest with me. And she said, Laura, all of her clients, which are the hirers, had
Yes.
told her, don't even send us anyone who's over the age of 45. Okay.
Oh
And
no.
I was 52.
Oh
Okay. So
no.
she
Mhm.
basically told me at this
Yeah.
point in time,
Yes.
you haven't got a hope in, of getting a job in your industry right now because they won't hire you. They
Mm,
won't hire you. They'll tell you all kinds of things, but they
sure.
won't hire you. Okay.
Sure. Yes.
So I was like, okay, that's
Mm-hmm.
not what I was expecting. So what am I going
Uh,
to do now?
yeah.
Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
then my partner died suddenly, and then I was thrown into this whole healing journey, and I had a series of different healing experience. I went to John of God in Brazil. I did ayahuasca in in Peru.
Oh wow.
um, oh
You
yeah, I did
have,
some
yeah.
wild things. I
Yeah.
got deep into yoga. I became a yoga
Uh-huh.
teacher. And I found out after, that's what I thought I was going to do. I thought I was
Oh.
going to teach yoga
Uh-huh.
as part of my career change.
Yes.
That was not the issue. It wasn't about me teaching yoga. It was about me going through the experience,
Right.
because I went through an intensive month-long training program in
Mm-hmm.
Costa Rica. And
Mm.
that was,
Okay.
again, part of my healing journey.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So when and then I was sitting there when I got through my healing journey, the major part of it, and I went, okay, what am I going to do now? And then all of a sudden, it just like literally popped into my head. Well, you loved helping these people with your
Mm-hmm.
readings and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So why
Mm-hmm.
don't you just start your own business and do that?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
So,
I kind of, that's what I did.
right, but when you say your healing journey, what were you healing from? Because of the loss of your partner, or just the ambiguity of what do I do now?
No,
What?
there was multiple things. One was the loss of my career,
Okay.
because I had been doing that for 30 years. Like that
Uh-huh.
was, your career in our 3D world
Yeah.
becomes a huge part of who you are.
Yes, it
Okay.
does.
So
Yes.
so it was like losing a limb. Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
that was a huge part of my identity, was my corporate job and making these
Okay.
six figures and all that
Okay.
kind of thing.
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then my partner died, and that was huge, like totally
Okay.
unexpected. The person I
Uh-huh.
loved more than anything else in the world was gone. And
Yeah.
I had to heal from that.
Okay.
And then when I started trying to go out and get another job, I had people telling me, you're useless. We don't want you, and nobody's going to hire you.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
So,
Yeah.
so
Okay.
then, so
Okay.
then there's that of, of having the world tell you that you are no longer needed, wanted, or going to make a living.
Exactly. Okay. Okay.
So there was
All
a
right.
lot. There was a
Uh-huh.
lot.
Wow. So you found your healing, you were doing readings,
Yeah.
and then the decision, well, and one of the things, well, let me ask you this. What is the value of becoming authentic, of being your authentic self?
Well, because you're no longer, I told you at the very beginning, when I was working in corporate, I was literally two people. Okay.
Uh-huh,
I
uh-huh.
had one face and one
Right.
personality that I had in business. And then I had another face, another personality that I had in my personal life. And
Mm-hmm,
even being a Gemini,
mm-hmm,
okay, this
mm-hmm,
was a very difficult thing. Like you
mm-hmm,
really had this cognitive dissonance. Like, who
mm-hmm.
am I really? Okay.
Yeah.
Because you're really not authentic in any way, because in both lives you're faking it. Okay.
Mm-hmm,
And my healing journey was also bringing those two parts together and being
mm-hmm.
a complete person.
That's That's Max, and Max, my listeners know who he is. He doesn't do this often, but for some reason he's pretty excited right now. So I apologize to my listeners. That's just part of my show sometimes. Okay.
It's the energy, okay, and it's the fact that you've got them locked out of the room is what's going
That's,
on
yes, exactly right. Exactly
here.
right. Okay. So yeah, let's talk about that authenticity thing.
Well, it was a wonderful process because what I ended up doing was basically merging my two selves into one person,
Hmm.
which is the way we should always be all the time.
Yes.
Um, Now, for women, especially in this modern world, women this is done to women simply by living in this world because they're
Hmm.
taught that they have to be everything. They have to be the successful business woman or career woman. They've got to be a perfect mother. They've got to be a perfect partner.
Hmm.
They've got to be a perfect sexual partner on, they've
Hmm.
got so many hats going
Right.
on
Right.
that they really, and of course when they're sophisticated and in a career position in their job, they're not supposed to be feminine. They're supposed to take on that masculine energy.
Hmm.
So basically women are, especially, this is why most of my practice is women, I'll tell you that right
Okay.
now,
Hmm.
because women are so fractured. They're not just two people. They're at least three, and sometimes more like five or six different
Okay.
personas, you
Uh-huh.
know? And
Yeah.
what we have to do is, we come into this world, everybody, regardless of their gender, okay?
Hmm.
We have divine feminine energy and we have divine masculine energy.
Right. That's right.
And when we are born into this world, usually we have a skew to one or the other. And it doesn't matter if you're male or female, because a
Hmm.
man can have a skew towards his divine feminine energy. A
Hmm.
woman, I came in with a heavy skew to the divine masculine, which was
Hmm.
another thing that I had to merge. And one
Okay.
of the biggest purposes and biggest challenges is actually for this lifetime is to bring those to not only to bring them into balance, but
Yeah.
also to have them work together. Okay,
Okay.
because
Uh-huh.
when you're truly authentic and when you're standing in your power, you are actually using both your masculine,
Mm.
divine masculine,
Okay.
divine feminine at the same
Hmm.
time.
Hmm. Wow. So let's talk about you said that the spirit goes into core issues, right? For example, you talked about um the spirit can help to release them. You talked about, first of all, being aware of what's going on, and what I want to do is try to figure out how do people and get what their purpose is. I know your purpose can be different times in your life. I'll say
Yeah.
that. The purpose could be a caregiver at one time, having a mother, blah, 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 a wife or whatever. But then to get to your ultimate purpose, what a lot of us are trying to figure out. And we talk about how critical intuition is.
Hmm.
How they use their intuition to identify what their purpose is.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you, there are what I call core purposes, okay?
Okay.
Which is
Okay.
like healer, teacher,
Okay.
um, way shower,
Mhm.
things like that. Now, for
Mhm.
example, if your core purpose is as a healer, okay, you
Mhm.
could be doing that. That's the core purpose that you come into
Okay.
this particular lifetime with. But
Okay.
how you manifest that, how you choose to do that is totally up to you.
Mm.
Okay.
Mhm.
Now, for me, I chose to lean into the work that I do in terms of being a psychic and a medium. That's my method of healing. Now, you
Okay.
could have somebody that came in with healing energy and they are a body worker. They could be either They could be something traditional, like a registered massage therapist.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Or they could be something a little bit more alternative, like an energy healer, a Reiki master. There's all
Okay.
different things. Even I know people who actually have the healing energy, who came in with the purpose of being a healer. And I use this example because people can really get it.
Mm-hmm.
They are actually um, real estate agents.
Mm.
Okay.
Okay.
Because their passion for healing people is to get people into the right home in the right area, because all of that is everything's about energy. Okay. So if
Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
get somebody into the right kind of home in the right kind of area that's
Mm-hmm.
right for them, or right for them and their family, whatever the case
Mm-hmm.
may be, you are actually helping them to heal. Because I've seen people who are in the wrong
Mm.
house, okay, or in the wrong neighborhood, in the wrong city, or it could even be in the wrong country, okay?
Really?
Doesn't matter where
Okay.
you're born, you could actually end up in the wrong country, because all these things have their own energy. And
Okay.
us as
Mm-hmm.
individuals, we have our own energy. And if you're living in a place that is not harmonic with your own personal energy, you are not going to be well. Okay. You're not going to be
Mm.
physically, mentally, or emotionally, or spiritually healthy. Okay.
Mm.
This is
Mm-hmm.
what happens, because you can move into somewhere and you can be aligned with that energy of that place for
Right.
a long time. But all of
Okay.
a sudden, as you change your energy, you're no longer in alignment. And all of a sudden, this is how all of a sudden people go, I got to move. And they don't even know why. Okay. They just go,
Mm-hmm.
I got to
Mm-hmm.
move. I can't handle this house anymore, or I
Mm-hmm.
can't handle the city anymore, or I want
Okay.
to move to this other country.
Right.
It can be on multiple levels. Okay.
Wow.
So
Wow.
that is really, so the first thing is figuring out what your core purpose is, okay? And that is one of the easiest ways is really digging into what you really like to do when you were a child, okay?
Mm. Okay.
Okay? If you
Mm-hmm.
start, because when we're children,
Yeah.
okay, we're
Mm-hmm.
not as, especially young children. Okay, sometimes this requires talking to parents and
Yeah.
grandparents and uncles and aunts. Find out what you really like to do. And I'm talking under the age of 7. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If you
Okay.
look at the activities and the places and the things that you like to do when you were under the age of 7, you'll
Uh-huh.
get a pretty good idea of what your core purpose is.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Now
Uh-huh.
that's the starting point. Then you start looking at, okay, what are the things as I got older that I really like to do? Because that
Mm-hmm.
will start showing you how your own manifestation of that particular gift. Okay.
Mm. Okay.
Okay. Say,
Okay.
I'll give you an easy example. Say when you were a really young child, you really liked taking care of animals. You can tell these little kids, they're always taking care of animals. They're bandaging them up. They're
Mm-hmm.
feeding them, all that kind of
Right.
thing.
Right.
And then you look at their life as they get older, and then they're always doing something with animals. They love
Mhm.
animals,
Uh-huh.
So
Mm.
their gift is working. Their purpose is actually healing, a healing purpose, but it's healing with animals.
Mm.
So these people often become vets. They become horse trainers.
Right.
There's all these different
Okay.
expanded careers that come from that. So
Mm.
that's the easy way to start.
Mhm.
The way you get in touch with your own intuition and you start allowing yourself to be guided more, the best way that I've ever found for most people is meditation, meditation, meditation,
Meditation.
meditation.
Okay. Mhm. Okay.
So that when it comes to really getting in touch with your intuition and your authentic self,
Mhm.
it's through meditation. I have now I've had a solid meditation practice. And when I say a practice, I mean every day. Okay. If you're only meditating a couple times a week, it's better than not at all, but it's not a practice. Okay. Because
Okay.
meditation has a cumulative effect. It doesn't have to be hours and hours. Okay.
Uh-huh.
It can be 20, 30 minutes a day, but it has to be pretty much every day. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
I could, like I said, I've been meditating constantly, probably for 11 or 12 years now. And I
Mhm.
could probably count on one, maybe two hands at the most, how many days that I've actually missed meditating. Okay.
Wow.
The only
Okay.
time I usually miss is often if I've been like super sick or if something really out of the ordinary has happened.
Uh-huh.
And you just get back on the horse and the next day you're meditating again. Okay.
Okay. Laura,
So this,
yeah, the meditation, and I hear that a lot. And some people do the prayer and yoga, and just different modalities on how they do things. I
yep,
I am curious too. You talked about you being you a psychic. You read. If I'm not mistaken, I thought I saw you were a seer.
yeah.
I think SEER. I think you say. Um, so the reading part, that's a gift for you, right? That's your gift,
Okay, okay.
right?
This,
Okay.
this is this is. I am going to correct this because this is a misconception that so many
Okay.
people have.
Okay.
Every single person on this earth is psychic to some degree.
Okay.
Okay, it's just I use the example of playing basketball. Okay, everybody can play basketball, but some people are just better at it than others.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Hmm.
and sometimes even somebody who's not good at it can become really good at it simply by practicing. Okay. Even if
Okay.
you don't have a natural talent. And there's people who have natural talents for basketball, but ignore it.
Right. Okay.
You see what
Okay.
I'm saying? Now,
Hmm.
mediumship, I'll have some people argue with me, but I have some pretty famous mediums that agree with me. So I don't care if they want to argue. But mediumship
Sure.
itself, getting messages from the other side, is a
Hmm.
different gift. You have to be born with it. Okay. There's a lot of
Okay.
people that say they can teach you to be a medium. No, if you don't have that gift, they
Hmm.
cannot teach you to be a medium. If you
Hmm.
have the mediumship gift, absolutely, there's people who can help you develop the gift. Okay.
Okay.
So, what I
Mhm.
always say is all mediums are psychic, not all psychics are mediums.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
And even within the psychic vein, there are the different clairs. Okay. Clairvoyant, clairaudient, blah, blah, blah. There's five of them, I believe.
Right.
Um, I'm pretty much all five, but
Hmm.
some are more, and this is usually most people. Some are, in me, some are more distinctive and powerful than others. Okay.
Hmm.
Probably one of my most powerful one is clairvoyance, which is seeing things, and that's why I call it a sayer. A lot of people call me a sayer.
Okay.
That's like the oracles of Delphi. They were sayers. Okay, they were
Okay.
seers. They
Mhm.
saw the future. They saw things before they happened. They saw the reasons behind things. But I am also the other. I'm clairsentient. There's a bunch of them. Okay. So
Mhm.
a lot of people have different, like I said, they have different strengths of different forms of them.
Mhm.
So that's the difference between people. But
Okay.
everybody's psychic to some degree.
To some degree.
Yeah,
Okay.
to some degree.
Okay. Um, why do you do the work that you do? What's your why?
My why
Uh-huh.
is because I love to see people empowered. And when you understand the why of what's happening to you,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
you can actually be empowered to heal yourself and to change your life.
Okay.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
When we don't understand what's going on, when we have no clarity, when we can't figure out why these things are happening to us, okay,
Uh-huh. Right.
when we're in a state, a lot of people are in a state that they blame others and situations for what's happening to
Uh-huh.
them, okay,
Mhm.
that is
Mhm.
disempowering and it's not true.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Because when you understand that you create your own reality, okay, at first it's a bit frightening because
Yes.
if things are going wrong in your life and things aren't very nice, and you have to admit to yourself that you have created everything in your life, good, bad, or indifferent, okay,
Mm-hmm.
it seems very negative to a lot of people. But what you don't understand is if you stand back and you realize that you're creating your own reality, then you can change it.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Okay, that is the definition of empowerment.
Okay.
Because if you sit back and you say, oh no, this person did this to me, and the reason I did this is because the family I was born into, and the reason I can't do this is because where I live, and you're blaming everyone and everything for what's happening in
Exactly.
your life, that is
Exactly.
totally disempowering. That means you can't change it.
Right.
Okay,
Okay.
that means you're a victim. You're a
Mm-hmm.
victim of
Mm-hmm.
circumstance, and
Mm-hmm.
you're a victim of other people. Okay, and there's
Mm-hmm.
nothing more disempowering than that. The
Okay.
victimhood.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
so
Okay.
that is a huge part of my mission is showing people that they actually have all the power in their own hands to make their life into whatever they want it to be. And I don't
Mm-hmm.
care what your circumstances are, and I don't care what's happened to you. You have the power to change pretty much everything in your life.
Everything. Great. So all my listeners who are stuck and um I guess we'll go back and say they don't have to be
Nope.
because they have the power within to do that. So what would you suggest or share with them on how they can get unstuck?
Well, it's really about it's different. It's depending on what's keeping them stuck.
Uh-huh.
But often the root of it is
Uh-huh.
that they feel powerless. Okay,
Oh,
they are blaming
good.
circumstances and other people. Okay,
Okay.
for being stuck. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Just the realization that actually you're the one that got yourself stuck.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is that you can get yourself unstuck.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what really is and getting clarity on that is what I can help people do. Okay.
Okay.
And
Okay.
there's also things that happened in this life. But
Mm-hmm.
in some cases, there is also things that happen in previous lives that people have carried over into this life because they didn't finish it in the previous life. So
Mm-hmm.
they're revisiting those lessons. And
Mm-hmm.
um, a lot of times, just by knowing what happened, it gets them unstuck. Okay.
Right. Okay.
Because something in this life
Okay.
triggers what happened in the past life. So all of a sudden, they're all in that muddle again from what
Right.
happened previously. But just I on my business cards, I have a little phrase. It says empowering people through conscious awareness.
Mm.
Okay? Because so much you can't heal something that you're not aware of.
Mm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because you need to bring that to your awareness in order to release it. I always say healing equals release.
Mm.
So
Okay.
really healing is about us releasing those energies. Again, I'm going,
Mhm.
everything's energy. Okay. If and I love the new quantum physics because the new quantum physics and the new science is validating so many spiritual laws that everybody used to poo poo
Uh-huh.
um, with
Right.
with science. Okay.
Okay.
So they
Okay.
can't poo poo them anymore.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
So that is the crux to it. It's
Mm-hmm.
really tapping in and looking at yourself and looking at how you're standing in your own way.
Right.
Okay. And
Mm-hmm.
and this is it, taking responsibility for that.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
the biggest thing that people don't understand is the power of making a choice.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because even not making a
The
choice, which is
choice.
why so many people get stuck, is a
Yes.
choice.
Right.
Okay. So
Right.
if you're going to stand there and not make any choices, i.e., not make any decisions, not take any actions,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to tell you a secret, which a lot of people don't understand about divine intervention. They're angels, however you want to look at it.
Uh-huh.
Okay. A
Uh-huh.
lot of people think that they can sit on their couch and they can pray or they can meditate, whatever your stripe is. I
Right.
basically consider them the same thing.
Right.
Um, and their angels are going to jump in and do it all for them.
That's right.
Okay.
Right.
No, it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
work that way. Because
Mm-hmm.
what
Mm-hmm.
my guides have shown me over and over again, because there's this little thing on earth, it's called free will.
Yes.
Okay.
That's right.
And your angels cannot just jump in and start doing things because they don't have your agreement in
Mm-hmm.
free will. Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
I always tell people all you have to do is take some baby steps, even little baby steps in the direction that you want to go. Okay. Because then your angels can stand there and go, oh, she's going that way.
Yeah.
We can help her. Now we know because she's given us permission. She's shown us the way that she's decided to go. She's made a choice.
Okay.
Okay. So now we can help her. We can bring
Right.
those wonderful synchronicities. We
Mm-hmm.
can bring messages. We can bring people into her life who can help her do whatever she wants to do. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's the thing. But you cannot sit on your butt
Right.
and expect your life to change because I'm telling you, nothing will change.
I agree. They say this saying about when the student's ready, that's when the teacher will appear.
Absolutely. Because that's when people, all of a sudden, when you make a choice
Mhm.
and you take well, even making a choice actually is an action. Okay.
That's
That
right.
is an action. Okay. Making a
Right.
choice and saying, okay, I give up. I know my life is going to, needs to change. This is what I want to do.
That's right.
Okay. Universe hears everything that you're saying, okay, and
Exactly.
everything that you're feeling.
Right.
And that choice alone is going to start things in motion. But I
Mm-hmm.
really like to see people take some kind of action. I
Mm-hmm.
don't care what it is, even if it's just looking something up on the internet.
Right. Right.
Okay. Like it can
Exactly.
be that simple. Okay.
Yeah.
Or,
Right.
I'm going to change my life. I want to be more healthy. So instead of parking right next to the door, I'm going to
Right.
park at the other side of the parking lot.
Exactly.
It
Exactly.
can be that simple.
Wow. That's great. That's because I always think choice is a gift. um we like you said that our free will, so you can't just sit here and think things are going to happen, or or say I want to be promoted and just sit there. I mean, you're not taking action. Like, you want to be promoted to what? Why do you want to be promoted? Have to ask yourself those questions. So Laura, and another thing, even the choice of, I need support. I need support from
Oh,
Laura. I need support from a coach. I need a support from a
yeah.
mentor or something, because I don't want individuals to think they can do this all alone, because you can't.
Well, and the thing is, you don't have to.
Right.
See, the first step is making that choice, and then,
Mhm.
okay, when you choose what you want to make a change, then it's really about making a choice of who are the best people to help you make that change.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay.
Very good.
Or in my case, who is the best person? Because
Mhm.
I help people identify what those changes need to look like. I can
Mhm.
help them to decide what are the best people to help them make those changes.
Mhm. Mhm.
What are the things that they can do themselves to help that
Mhm.
process along?
Right.
They're and help them get clarity. Because spirit tells me all the time one of their biggest jobs is to give us confirmation. Okay.
Mhm.
Because a lot
Mhm.
of times we get intuitions and we think, oh, that's just our wishful thinking.
Right.
Okay. or that's just my imagination. But when you come to somebody like me, and without me knowing what you've been thinking, okay, like we're psychics are not mind readers, okay? We read
Uh-huh.
energy, okay,
Uh-huh.
not mind
Yeah.
readers. So, and when I come to you and I say, okay, this is what I see for you, this is what I'm being told for you, and it's exactly what you thought about, you go, oh my God. I have
Uh-huh.
people say this all the time. That's exactly what I thought. Oh, thank you so much for
Right.
calling in.
Exactly. Uh-huh.
Because honestly, spirit does not want us to become dependent on
On.
them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They want to empower us to use our own intuition and our own gifts, whatever those
Mm-hmm.
happen to be. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that is their goal, because they don't want us coming, they don't want people, like, I don't want to see somebody, every other day or something on every single decision that they have to make. That's not the idea. Okay. The
Right.
idea is to give them focus and direction,
Right.
and
Right.
maybe identify some of the blocks that they need to work on, and
Mm-hmm.
then find people that are the best people to help them release those blocks.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's
Wow.
a
That's
huge
great.
part.
Yeah, and I so appreciate your clarification, the clarification in reference to a psychic, clarification to, saying that you have what it takes to do what it is that you want to do. Also, ask for help if you need help. Nothing's wrong with that. And also use your intuition. And I loved it when you said, think about things that you liked when you were small. What were some of the things that you were doing? Even like your corporate job perhaps gave you skills to do what you're currently doing now.
Exactly.
So don't,
Exactly.
yeah, so kind of look at that as if, okay, all right, I got that skill. They let me go. Okay, now what?
Well,
So
actually, I chose to leave, but that's a whole
right,
nother.
yeah, yeah. But either way, you something happened where it gave you that making that choice. Like, you know what? I think it's time for me to go away. I think it's time for
Well,
me.
you know what? It really was about, and this is a huge one for so many people, because as humans, we are so happy in our little comfort zones.
Yes,
Okay. And
love it.
it's really about, if you want to step into your purpose, I tell you right now, it's about stepping out of your comfort zone.
Hmm. That's true.
Okay.
That's true. That's
Because we are so, I wish I could, I'm trying to remember the saying. I'm just going to make it up.
okay.
Everything that you
Perfect.
ever, I'm just going to do my version. Everything
Okay.
that you ever wanted is on the other side of your comfort zone.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
Okay.
Huh?
Now, if
Mhm.
you want to sit and your whole life, and I know people have done it, if you want to sit your whole life in your comfort zone, have at it. But I
Right.
tell you, you're not going to get those things that you've always wanted. You're going to die
Right.
with those dreams still within you. Okay, there's another
Exactly.
thing about that.
Exactly. And that's
Okay,
where I say the graveyard is. They say that's the richest place because there's so many unmet dreams.
exactly,
Yeah. Yeah.
exactly. And
Right.
you're never going to get those dreams unless you take a chance.
That's
And
right.
taking a chance is the absolute definition of stepping out of your comfort zone.
Hmm.
Okay, because
Absolutely.
there's nothing scary or challenging about staying in your comfort zone. That's why it's called a comfort zone.
That's right. Exactly. That's exactly right. Exactly right. Hey, Laura, how can my listeners get in touch with you? And in doing so, what is, when they do, I want to be clear on the expectations. When they get in touch with you, to do what for them that are stuck, to help them get unstuck?
Yeah. Yes. Like I always say, okay, the easiest way to get in touch with me is through my website, which is
Mhm.
be in the show notes, www.spiritspeakstome.
Right.
Uh, two is a number two dot me.
Mm-hmm.
Or email me directly. It's really easy at laurahorwig@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in
Mm-hmm.
terms of my private sessions,
Yes.
you can bring any and all questions that you have, whether it's questions about specific questions, whether it's questions about areas of your life, whether it's questions about relationships,
Mm-hmm.
specific people, okay?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Your children, your spouse, your
Okay.
boyfriend, your girlfriend, whatever it is,
Mhm.
your purpose. It really is about, I'm just checking. And the best way to say this, it's about any question that you have, whether it's a spiritual question or something in your life. Okay.
Mhm,
Then
mhm.
also our group will, my group of guides and your group of guides, they get together and they have a party,
Okay.
and
Uh-huh.
they channel through me
Uh-huh.
information that you need to know, even if it's something that you don't ask. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
That information will come through. Sometimes
Mhm,
in a session, because I'm also a medium, if somebody on the other side has an important message for the person that I'm in session with, they will
mhm.
bring it through. If you're comfortable with that, I always ask people at the
Yeah.
beginning.
Mhm,
Some people are, some people aren't. It's up to you whether you receive those messages or not. And it
mhm.
doesn't happen all the time, but it happens frequently.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
That's what a private session is like. And normally, I before I would enter into my intuitive coaching program, which I call, you're gonna love this, create the life that you really want. Okay, that's the
Uh-huh.
name of my coaching program, my intuitive
Uh-huh.
coaching. Coaching's, I don't even like the word coaching because it's not really traditional coaching. It's more mentorship,
Yes.
and because we're dealing directly with spirit.
Yes.
Um, and it's very unique to each and every person. And even with the
Mhm,
personal sessions, the private sessions, they
mhm.
are distinctly unique to each person, whatever they're needing at that particular moment in time. Okay.
Okay.
So everything is led by spirit, and the private sessions are also led by you, by the person that comes and what kind of questions and needs they have at that particular time in their
Mhm,
life.
mhm. You know,
Now, I don't claim to be a medical intuitive because
okay.
that's not my specialty, but
Yes.
I am quite gifted because a lot of people come to me with things that they want to know what's going on within their body. I'm pretty good
Mhm,
at that. I am not a
mhm,
doctor, I am not a
mhm.
medical professional, but I
Okay.
have helped many people to direct them into things that are going on with their body and where they should go from here.
Okay, that's good. That's good. I was thinking like, you should actually be extremely popular and powerful when there's so many people. I'm wondering, does the police ever call you to say, hey, Laura, we have this missing person. Do you have any idea what they could be?
That is another specialty, but
Okay.
I have done some of that work.
Okay.
I don't want to do that work. There are people out there dedicated to do that
Yeah.
work, and
Mm-hmm.
I honor them because it's nasty work.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's very taxing. It's very hard on you. You're dealing with a lot of violence and very heavy, heavy, heavy energy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
I'll tell you right now, most of the time when the police are looking for somebody, that person is not with us any longer. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Occasionally, they
Uh-huh.
do find people
Yeah.
alive and children and different things
Yeah.
like that. But
Yeah.
the vast majority of the time, when it involves the police, they're looking for a body. Okay.
Okay.
That
Okay.
I made a choice a long time ago that that is not the work that I wanted to do.
Okay.
Uh, but I have found that I'm very good at finding lost things.
Lost things.
People lose things. There's things
Right.
that are important to people
Yes.
and that they don't know where they are.
Mm-hmm.
Or, and
Mm-hmm.
I've helped quite a number of people find these important items. Okay. That is something I will do.
Okay.
I will not look for people. I
Okay.
can pretty accurately because I can see where somebody is. I can tell somebody whether somebody, some people have a long lost relative or a parent they never met,
Yeah.
things like that. I can tell them whether they're still with us or they're on the other side because I'm a medium.
Okay.
Okay. And
Okay.
that is helpful for people because a lot of people just want to know whether somebody's still with us or whether they've crossed over.
Mm-hmm.
That I will do, but not the police work. No, I won't
Okay.
do that.
Okay. That was just my intuition wanting to know.
Yeah, and like I said, there are some actually,
Yeah.
this is interesting you brought this up because there are some people that came in. I think most of the people that do that work, because it's so special,
Yeah.
because it's so difficult, okay? There are people that actually came in with that mission, okay?
Okay.
To help
Mm-hmm.
people in that area. The other
Yeah.
one, the other specialty in psychics that I know a lot of that's also very difficult is there's people who came in with the mission to help wayward souls that for whatever reason haven't been able to cross over. They get caught in between. Okay. That
Mm-hmm.
again is a very difficult specialty. I also
Mm-hmm.
know people who do that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And
Okay.
that is something again that I won't do.
Okay.
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 Um,
Okay.
just because
Wow.
that's my choice.
Okay.
And and I those two things I think are very, it's just like being a heart specialist,
Mm-hmm.
okay, or
Mm-hmm.
being a neurosurgeon,
Yeah.
okay. Now
Yeah.
these guys are both doctors, and not only are they
Right.
both doctors, they're both surgeons, or these
Yes.
women. I don't want
Specialties.
to be sexist here,
Yes.
but that is a chosen specialty. And
Mm-hmm.
honestly, I think a lot of times that those people, those particular doctors, came in with a special talent to do those special things.
Sure. Exactly. You're right. They're specialists.
Yeah, they're
Right.
specialists.
That's right. Well, Laura, I want to thank you. My listeners, I know, are so engaged in this, and I believe you're going to hear from some people in reference to our conversation and some of their needs as well. And as many of them know, I'm a mentor. I'm not a coach. I am a mentor. I'm an author, a speaker, and a mentor. And and I ask my listeners, knowing that many of you know that this conversation has really resonated with you, for you to share this with someone that you believe this will be in their best interest. Also, this podcast will be on every podcast platform. So if you miss it when it goes live, excuse me, uh, you won't ever miss it because it's always going to go live on a platform. So again, I want to thank you, Laura, as I tell my listeners, bye for now. And everyone, God bless you. And again, thank you so much, Laura. My pleasure.
Thank you. It's been my pleasure.